Hi there, quick video today, which is going to be about a little bit about my trip to Mongolia. So I've chosen to go to Mongolia. For those of you that don't know, I like to travel and see new places, and I like to learn languages. So I've wanted to go to another country, and I thought it might be interesting to go and check out Mongolia. Mongolia isn't a very touristy place. I haven't been there before, so I don't know that much about it. It's not as touristy or as popular as, say, China or even Russia. It's between these two countries. I don't know a lot about the history, but I know that there's definitely a Russian and Soviet influence in Mongolia from a political point of view, and that sort of thing. I know that influence definitely shows in the capital city, Ulaanbaatar or Ulaanbaatar. I'm not sure how to say it, and I guess it's kind of where Asia and Russia meets, I guess, in a way. In terms of language, I think it'll be very interesting I'm definitely going to do a bit of a dabble in Mongolian. It's always good to know a bit of the language before you go somewhere, I believe. Don't think it will be a long-term language, but it'll be interesting nevertheless. So, Mongolian language, we have very different sort of language from its neighbours. So it's not connected to Chinese in any way, and it's not connected to Russian. Doesn't have any linguistic ties with these languages. I'm not sure, but I think it may be very distantly related to the Manchurian language, and may possibly Korean very distantly, Turkish, Japanese very, very distantly. Feel free to give me some more accurate information on that if you know. So yeah, they use the Cyrillic Russian alphabet in Mongolia. The traditional Mongolian alphabet or script, I'm not sure, was used, but now it's not really. I think there's been some attempt to bring it back, but most Mongols are not familiar with the traditional Mongolian script. The Russian alphabet's a lot easier, I guess, and it's obviously been very practical for them to use that. So yeah, I've started learning the Cyrillic alphabet. I'm pretty familiar with most of the letters. It doesn't take very long to learn, and soon I'll be doing some Mongolian language studies, not only a little bit. One problem with that, though, is there aren't many resources available for the Mongolian language. There isn't a teach yourself or Pimsleur, but there is the colloquial series, which is not bad. So I think I'm going to have to try that, since I don't have that much choice anyway. Yeah, so Mongolia will be an interesting trip. Definitely, I think, more nomadic sort of lifestyle once you leave the capital city, in comparison to the city and in comparison to other Asian countries. Definitely the population is much, much lower than its neighbours. So China, you're looking at 1.2 billion or something, and Mongolia, I think, is around 2 million. So it's much smaller, and I definitely think that they're not as advanced in technology as other nations, but there is some rapid change happening that I've noticed by watching some videos. The capital city is definitely becoming much more, it's becoming much more city-like, much more international, and I guess sort of business orientated, and there's more bars and clubs and restaurants coming up there in Ulaanbaatar. And I believe there are some expats living there, I've seen, that seem to enjoy it. It's also a very extreme sort of climate, probably mild summers, mild warm summers to extremely cold winters. I believe Ulaanbaatar is the coldest capital city in the world, which is interesting. So I'll be going there. I'm not leaving until June the 7th. I'll be there for 2 weeks. I'll be doing a tour there. Since I don't know that much about Mongolia, it's best to probably be guided for the first time. And so that's about it. Then I'll be finishing off my trip and staying in Hong Kong for a couple of days. So I mean, it definitely interests me, because everywhere interests me. I mean, China interests me, Europe interests me, Indonesia is interesting, but in terms of countries that haven't been explored that much, or that aren't very touristy, are even more interesting in some ways, and you're more likely to encounter the authentic local experience, I think, in that case. You can tend to avoid all the touristy garbage which caters for Westerners and tourists. So my question to you is, obviously the language side and also the travelling side. I want to know if any of you have been to Mongolia. If you have, I'd love to hear your comments about that. Send me a personal message or comment, preferably a personal message. Also, if you've learnt Mongolian, or even not just Mongolian, but anything else obscure, any place which you consider to be obscure, or any language, I'd definitely like to hear from you. I've talked a bit about languages in the past. This video is a bit more about travel. So let me know what you guys think, and see you soon.